What is America? Is it a city on a hill, a beacon to the world of righteous living? Is it a land of democracy sustained by the Constitution? It's the year 1776. Citing Enlightenment ideals, the writers of the Declaration of Independence strove to create a society of freedom and justice. But is America truly the paradise that our founding fathers had envisioned? One can argue both ways. Let's fast forward to the early 20th century. The American dream is the idea that every U.S. citizen has an equal opportunity for prosperity through hard work and determination. Although its perception has changed greatly over the years, the American dream still prevails, remaining a grand symbol for success.
Despite the notion of equal opportunities, climbing up American social pyramid was anything but a crystal stair. F. Scott Fitzgerald is one of many great American authors who used their works to expose the realities of America. The Great Gatsby, a microcosm of life in 1920s, tells the story of newly reached bootlegger Jay Gatsby, who attempts to use his wealth to gain acceptance amongst the American aristocracy. Like many, he is ultimately unable to overcome social barriers despite his efforts and dies a disheartening death. However, his unending determination reveals the nature of Americans who never give up and face adversity with pride. In Lauren Hansberry's play, A Raisin in the Sun, main character Walter Younger demonstrates his characteristic of determination as well. Despite losing a large sum of money, his proud heritage allows him to make the final decision to advance in society by moving out of his shabby apartment and into a real house. His actions show how the American dream can still be achieved by the disadvantaged, as long as they stay true to their ideals of progress.
Throughout the 20th century, people of color have often been discriminated against. Jim Crow laws enforced racial segregation in the southern United States. It heavily limited the socio-economic progress of African Americans while maintaining a policy of white supremacy. These racial biases were so deeply ingrained in the brains of some Americans that it severely prohibited their ability to reason, as demonstrated fictitiously in the book To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Judges of African American Tom Robinson's trial convicted him of rape despite clear evidence proving him otherwise. The trial was based on the true story of the Scottsboro boys who were wrongly accused of sexual assault and sentenced to death in 1931. This tragedy serves as a concrete reminder of America's past, giving us insight on ways to improve.
Predetermined gender roles were vastly prevalent in American society during the 1900s and oftentimes took power away from females. In Fitzgerald's novel, Daisy and Tom Buchanan represent social differences between men and women. Daisy is satisfied with being a traditionally submissive female, while Tom is able to take control of her without much consequence. This difference establishes the extent of women's freedom during the 1920s. Sandra Cisneros tackles these systemic issues in her book, The House on Mango Street, which is a series of vignettes revolving around women and their, quote, place by the window. Towards the end of the novel, the main character, Esperanza Cordero, aims to escape the poverty and oppression of Mango Street, but eventually returns to give back to the community that raised her and help those who were unable to succeed like she did. This reveals the resilience of Mexican American women in their quest for financial and societal independence and the potential for the American dream to be extended towards traditionally marginalized groups.
American exceptionalism is the ideal that America and its ideologies are unique compared to other nations. The decline of European colonial powers prompted the democratic United States and the communist Soviet Union to struggle for power via a series of proxy conflicts known as the Cold War. British journalist Graham Greene analyzed the foreign effects of American exceptionalism in his novel The Quiet American. In this novel, undercover CIA agent Alden Pyle is driven to support Vietnamese insurgency groups out of his fear that the Vietnamese people could fall under the control of the Viet Minh, a communist government. But despite good intentions, Pyle fails to consider that the Viet Minh may have the interests of the Vietnamese people at heart, leading to the deaths of many innocent people. So what is America? Despite its shortcomings, America is still a land of the free and the home of the brave. The previously mentioned authors have worked in harmony to create a detailed depiction of the good, the bad, and the ugly. No nation is perfect, and America certainly isn't as well, but the concept of freedom in the American dream prevails nonetheless, fueling a sense of optimism that continues to inspire dreamers today.